The human race is the result of billions of years of evolution, and we have dominated this earth ever since, like no other species. This is because the humans are the only species to harness the power of energy. Right from cavemen who discovered fire and the potential of the heat energy, to Stephenson who used heat to produce steam and power an engine, to discovery of oil and the never-ending uses of energy we have found today, thus triggering the Industrial Revolution and the vast improvements in science and technology that has made such an impact on the way we live. So much so that we are but slaves of energy. Everything we do today is dependent on energy. But even the most optimistic scientist agrees that one day this will all stop. Should we wait till we have exhausted every resource of energy? Should we wait till the earth goes dark?
Dear great-great-grandfather who lived in the 21st century,
dear all who are our great-great-grandparents,
Dear Grandpa and Grandma,
dear all,
I am your great-grandchild.
why didn't you save this planet when you could have?
why didn't you act?
we are suffering because of you.
Why didn't you save this planet?
You had known that this would happen.
Your leaders knew our fate.
Your scientists told you that this would happen.
You had the warning.
did you love your children at all?
Did you think about us?
We are your children's children.
We are your blood.
How could you let this happen to us?
To us,
Were you greedy?
You were just greedy.
Didn't you know that how we will suffer?
how could you allow so much pollution?
How could you leave us with no resources?
How could you use up all the resources which was preserved by nature for over billions of years in just 300 years?
We are left with nothing.
I call it injustice.
We have no oil or fuel.
We have no forest, and our land is no longer fertile, and we are dying of starvation.
You danced in the rain and we are being killed by it. Because we only have acid rains.
You had more than you needed, had no idea of what was precious and what wasn't.
All our rivers are polluted.
Why didn't you think about us when you were using all our resources?
We are suffering,
We are suffering very much.
and we are suffering because of you.
Because you didn't do what was right.
Because you didn't act on what you knew.
If you are seeing this while there are resources still around you,
If you are seeing this and your natural resources are not yet gone,
Maybe it's not too late.
Don't ignore this.
Think about us before you act.
we can do nothing now. You can.
please act before our planet turns into a desert.
Please act before it's too late.
Know about how you live.
How dependent we are on the planet.
How the planet is dependent on how you act.
Don't waste anything.
Reduce your footprint.
Conserve energy and resources.
Stop polluting for energy.
Change to renewable energy.
Change to green energy.
Act now.
Act now.
Act smart.
Don't wait.
Act
Now.
Do you want a TV in your house? A computer? A refrigerator? A mixie or a grinder? A washing machine? An iron box? Fan? Lights? I'm sure you have some or all of these and even more. All of these appliances run on electricity.
But do you know where electricity comes from or how it is produced? All our appliances run on electricity, which is generated in huge power plants all over the country and then distributed to our homes by the electricity department. Today, most of the electricity is produced in three main types of power plants: thermal, nuclear, and hydroelectric.
Thermal power plants burn some form of fossil fuel like coal, gas, oil to generate heat and convert this heat into electricity. They are called fossil fuels because they are found buried deep into the earth. Because they were formed from the decaying dead plant material millions of years ago. Coal is found at the depth of 180 to 300 feet and may even be found at the depth of 1000 to 1500 feet. We dig deep into the earth to extract the coal from its mine. At present, India has over 450 coal mines.
Gas and oil are found much deeper at depths of about 3,000 to 10,000 feet. These are extracted by drilling very deep wells and then using pumps to extract the natural gas and crude oil. Currently, there are about 5 lakh oil wells all over the world.
At present consumption level, coal is supposed to last us for only 100 years and oil for only 40 to 60 years and may even be exhausted much sooner.
We all know what happens to our favorite cool drink when we keep drinking it. That's right, it gets over. In the same way, we have to remember that fossil fuels are a natural resource and they will be exhausted someday, and that day is not far.
All types of thermal power plants pollute the environment extensively. Fossil fuels, when burnt, emit greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide. Moreover, coal-based thermal power plants also pollute the environment by emitting pollutants like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, volatile organic compound, and other heavy metals.
In nuclear power plants, the main fuel source is a rare metal called uranium. Here, by the process of nuclear fission, heat is generated which is used to produce electricity.
The problems, as you have seen, with the thermal power plants is that they cause a lot of pollution and use a fuel that cannot be regenerated in any way and are hence called non-renewable energy. Once these resources are consumed, electricity can no longer be produced.
Let us come back to those appliances you own. Where are they manufactured? Well, they're manufactured in huge factories which require lots of energy, and for this even more power plants are built which causes more pollution and depletes resources even faster.
The reality is that even though India produces over 1,80,000 megawatts of electricity, it still doesn't reach crores of people and the demand for electricity is ever increasing. But if we keep on building more and more of these power plants, the whole planet will soon be a huge desert.
Among the existing power plants providing us with considerable amounts of electricity, hydroelectric power plants are the most environment friendly. Hydroelectricity is produced by building dams across rivers to store water in a natural reservoir. The gravitational force of falling or flowing water is then used to generate electricity. Hydroelectric power plants produce no direct waste and have considerably lower output levels of greenhouse gases. It is the most widely used form of renewable energy.
But again, the problem with hydroelectricity is that almost all the rivers across which we can build a dam have already been built, thus limiting us to the scope of expanding the hydroelectric power generation.
As you can see, we need more electricity, but we have to reduce our dependency on the conventional forms of non-renewable energy generation and look forward to invent newer methods of renewable energy generation.
New, cleaner energy that can sustain for a long time and at the same time causing little or no pollution to the environment.
Nature is full of energy. The sun, wind, water and plants are all natural sources of energy and they are generally renewable in nature.
In fact, humans harness these natural energies much before the fossil fuels were identified for industrial use. We have all been using the solar energy for drying our clothes. We still use it in generating salt from seawater. We use it in sailing our ships. We use the bio-waste like cow dung as fuel for fire.
Of these resources, the sun, wind and water are practically infinite and cannot be depleted. Plants and trees can be sustainably developed by appropriate human effort. Ever since the necessity for renewable sources of energy have become known, newer methods for using these resources to produce electricity have been developed.
Let us now see how the energy from the sun can be used. The sun is the world's only source of real energy, and the amount of radiation that reaches the earth in 1 hour can be used to supply the entire planet's energy requirement for 1 year. The solar energy can be converted into electricity using the solar photovoltaic method and the solar thermal method.
Scientists have developed special silicon semiconductors called photovoltaic cells which can generate electricity when exposed directly to sunlight. Sunlight causes photons and electrons to be released at the surface of these thin photocells due to the photoelectric effect, which are then conducted through connecting wires to the appliance. 1 square meter of this photocell can produce an average of 100 to 180 watts of electricity. This is then stored in batteries for usage during the night when there is no sun. 10 square meters of the same photocell can produce enough energy to power a house. This is the average area of the roof of any house. Now, the problem with connecting solar-powered stations to the grid is the fact that the sun only shines during the day.
Alternatively, there are technologies that capture the sun's heat by focusing the sunlight using parabolic mirrors. The focused light is made to fall on pipes, thereby heating either the water or the special synthetic oil running through it. Thereby, the heat is used to generate electricity. Here too, the electricity can be generated only during the daytime.
There are newer methods being developed called the Molten-Salt Method, which can allow these power plants to function for 24 hours a day. In these, some of the heat generated during the day is stored so that they can be reused during the night to allow these power plants to generate electricity.
The next most renewable form of energy is the electricity that we produce from the wind. Wind, as we all know, is very powerful. Wind energy can be captured by using special wind turbines that are over 150 to 300 feet tall. When the wind blows, the blades of the turbines rotate and thus generate electricity. Today, over 197 gigawatts of electricity is being produced all over the world.
Biomass, as a renewable energy source, is the generation of electricity from biological material found from living or recently living organisms or animal waste. Biomass contains organic material which can be used directly by burning or by converting into other biofuels like methane and ethanol. Sustainable energy by biomass is replenished by human efforts of afforestation and agriculture. The benefit of this method of renewable energy is that it can be used in industries which produce massive amounts of bio-waste, such as the sugar industry, in which sugarcane waste known as bagasse is formed, which can be used to generate electricity.
So, solar, wind, hydro, biomass are energies that are non-polluting during the generation of electricity and are renewable in nature and will last us for thousands of years.
The total installed capacity of power generation from renewable energy sources in Tamil Nadu is about 7,339 megawatts. Out of this, 6,531 megawatts are from wind energy, 610 megawatts from cogeneration, 161 megawatts are from biomass and 7 megawatts from solar energy. This makes up about 36% of all the renewable energy generated in India. It also represents about 40% of the grid capacity of the Tamil Nadu electricity grid. Some industries like tea, sago and salt use solar energy to dry their produce. Also, some college hostels use solar energy to fulfill their cooking needs. Now, these projects get government assistance as well as subsidy.
More and more governments are changing to green energy, but as of today, the cost of green energy is still not cheaper than that of the conventional sources. But if a real change to green energy is to happen, then it must start from each one of us. Individually, we can and should reduce our dependence on the non-renewable sources. In addition to the alternate sources, we must try to reduce our electricity consumption from the grid and conserve energy.
It can be as simple as changing from filament bulbs to compact fluorescent lamps, prudent usage of electricity by switching off fans, lights and computers when not in use, or shifting from our power-consuming water heaters to solar-powered water heaters. Even institutions which require massive amounts of energy, like hotels, factories and educational institutions or hostels, can change part of their processes to standalone renewable energy sources, such as changing to solar dryers or biogas or solar PV systems to reduce the dependency on the grid-based non-renewable energy sources.
We should also encourage the use of biofuels in vehicles as a replacement of fossil fuels like petrol, kerosene and diesel.
It is a well-known law of physics that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but it can undergo change from one form to another.
Unless we invent new alternative technologies to make the renewable energy more efficient and eco-friendly, the whole planet will soon be a desert.
We have to shift to greener, renewable energy today if we want a greener tomorrow. We have to act now.
Hi, I'm Keertana and I'm concerned for the future. Just 200 years ago, the planet had abundant natural resources. We had clean air to breathe, pristine water, beautiful forests and greenery. But as a result of the Industrial Revolution, we have used up a large part of these natural resources, most of them non-renewable, and the rate at which we're consuming is increasingly alarming. I agree technology is important and we need every bit of technology that we have, but there must be a way to get what we want in a way that does not harm our sky, our land, our water. The key question is, what are we going to do tomorrow? We need to find ways in which we get what we want, but in a sustainable manner. For generations, we have been inheriting this world from our ancestors. But since the Industrial Revolution and innovations in science and technology, this is a world that we have not inherited from our ancestors, but that we have almost taken away from our children. At the rate at which we're consuming energy, experts say that we don't have resources to last us that long. Do we deserve to utilize resources the way that we are? I don't think so. We have to act now and make the world a better place for our children and their children. Switch to clean energy for a green future.